Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Astral Sorcery. Attunement. Personal attunement. For those that caught the last video, I pretty much covered all of the chapter of attunement, or rather, the chapter of attunement here, except for one specific area, and that is your personal attunement, which is unlocked via, well, I'll let you check out the last video, but it basically opens up this little tab here, your perks tab. Once you've been attuned to a specific constellation, then you will start having the opportunity to gain special powers and abilities, most of which are passive. Now, in this case, by attuning myself to Didia, of course, I've got a little helper friend. Let's just get him out of here. I attuned myself to Didia in this case, which you can see here. Actually, is it Didia? As I'm looking at it from a different angle. There we go. Didia. So with this, it's not currently high in the sky. If you look here, it's actually Avatas that's high in the sky. So therefore, it is not showing up as I would like it to in this case. But if I change it to another time and day, time add, let's do 24,000 just to move it to the next day, and it's a different moon cycle, and it just so happens that this is the now in this high enough in the sky. Now, it doesn't mean that I necessarily see it right now. It's probably behind a tree or something, but it just means that therefore it is now available enough that you can attune to it. Okay, so I already have. If you're curious how to do so, I recommend checking out the previous video in this series. But other than that, once you have stepped in here and attuned yourself to this, you will gain specific benefits, of which I said before, you can discover on your perks tab. Now, you start on the left here, you'll see this little meter, and it says 1. Now, as your level increases, you're able to start donating more and more to these abilities. Now, you can only unlock them. You're not going to enhance them further. Now, let me actually back up a little bit, because currently that's getting a bit loud. But with that, you start off with the first one, Berserk. Slightly overall increased damage. Unlock with alignment level 0, which means, oop, I get it for free. That's cool. And then I could potentially start doing these other ones, but you always start with the 1, and your level will stay the same. So as you gain more, you will then start increasing. Now, if I change myself game mode 0 to survival mode, and then I start running around and killing some of these mobs. For instance, I see one over here that's looking like he's wanting to fight. There we go. And if I go into my perks, I can see now that I have started on my way to obtaining the next level. Now, of course, I did a tremendous amount of damage because I'm using a creative-only tool from another mod that does a whole lot of damage. But as you start doing damage to these guys, you will start leveling up, and potentially you will be able to, get to your next level. Let me see if I can find one more mob. There we go. There's a volunteer. Thank you. And now you can see I'm level 2. Now, if I go into my journal, I can click on perks, and the other ones are now red and allowing me to put a point in there. Now, you can also increase these. Of course, Berserk, slightly overall increased damage. This does just affect just about everything that you're doing. So if you're hitting things with your bare hands, or if you're using a weapon, it's pretty darn cool. Now, if you move on here, Rooftop Sniper, increased damage to distant mobs, and Heavy Blows, increased damage to mobs that were knocked back. The Heavy Blows one, in my experience, is very minor. It is almost minute, to the point that you might not even notice it. But the Rooftop Sniper, on the other hand, it is very powerful. Allow me to get a regular bow. We're going to just grab a regular Minecraft bow, and then I'm just going to get some regular Minecraft arrows. There we go. And therefore, if I shoot, let's find an enemy here. Now, keep in mind that vanilla bows and such are going to have some variability with how much damage they do. Of course, this isn't helping that I am not in creative, so you can't really see his health count. But, you got your 3 damage. And the thing is with Rooftop Sniper, if you go into your perks on here, it says increased damage to distant mobs. So it kind of helps that they are at a distance. If they're in melee range, you're not going to do as much damage. The further away they are, the better you're going to do. Now, in this case, I'm actually not doing that much. I'm doing your standard vanilla amount. So allow me to choose on the perk here. We're going to go with Rooftop Sniper because, well, I do like ranged combat in Minecraft. I just like it in general. It's nothing specific. I just really enjoy ranged combat in most games. But if I can even find a mob, I might be able to demonstrate how this works. There we go. Sniper fight. And he's hiding behind a tree, of course. Now, 2 shots. And I took out that skeleton. Let's try this zombie here. 1 and 2 shots to take out the zombie. And these are just the vanilla bow. There's no enchantments on it or anything like that. So before I was shooting 3 to 4 times in order to take these guys out. So it is very effective for increasing the damage on ranged weaponry. Continuing on with Didia, we may have things like heavy blows, Kill Frenzy, increase damage after killing a mob, and Grievous Wounds apply a bleed effect when hitting something. And of course, don't forget this does work pretty darn well with just about any kind of weapon. Now, in order to continue to advance your levels, let me grab this station 1, which actually helps me. If you look on the top left there, you can see that I have levels going on. And the more damage you do in this case, the faster you'll progress towards your goal. So that does a ton of damage. That this here does like about 1 million attack damage. But I mean, it's not going to take that much. But if you just kill a whole bunch of guys, you're going to basically get your level ups over time. So these are relatively easy to obtain. They're very applicable to the method of which you are currently trying to progress in. So if you need to do, if it gives you bonuses to damage, you're going to want to do a bunch of damage to things in order to gain your level up. You can see now I am level 3 by running around and killing a bunch of stuff. But then again, I'm doing tons and tons of damage. So now I can continue on here, increase damage after killing a mob. So let's do that. Oh wait, I can't. I need to go back to heavy blows. So I do need to actually do all the prerequisites before I can actually do Kill Frenzy. So there you go. Alright, so I may have sped things up a little bit just by spawning in some spiders and constantly killing them over and over again, just for the benefit of those that are watching. But you can see now, Kill Frenzy, increase damage after killing a mob. And I would demonstrate the heavy blows, but like I said, it's so small that you're really not going to notice it too much. It is going to help, especially just over time if you're attacking something like a boss or whatnot. You're going to be doing that little bit much, a little bit more damage to them. Kill Frenzy, increase damage after killing a mob. There we go. And now if I use something like, let's try a wooden sword. Let's just go with a vanilla style if possible. There we go. Perfect. Now I just need to find a mob, which it's nighttime, so that shouldn't be too hard. And it usually takes about 4 swipes with an iron sword in order to kill a creeper. While this guy here, I'm hitting with a wooden sword. I'm doing more damage in general, but now that I've killed that guy, I should be able to do even more damage onto the next hit. So let's go find something that I can hit here. There's a spider, and I do a bit more damage than I normally would with the regular wooden sword. And of course, it's not really OP. It's just an extra bonus effect on there. Now, of course, I already leveled myself up, and I can get a bleeding effect on here. So let's go hit this creeper, and he now has a bleeding effect, which the current version I'm in right now, the bleeding is really intense. It does a huge amount. It is really sick. But that's probably going to be corrected in the next version. As you can see here. Yeah, a little bit much. A little bit of a glitch in there, but it's nothing to worry about. It will be going away. You will be getting a normal bleeding effect. It will be a slow, similar to a poison 1 effect on there, maybe a poison 2, but it will actually kill any enemies that you will experience instead of where poison will not kill anything. It will just bring them down to their lowest damage. So keep that in mind that currently you're seeing massive amounts of bleeding damage happening from this video. It will not be the same once the mod has been updated and the bug has been fixed. But it's really impressive nonetheless that you are able to obtain extra damage in so many different ways just from this little perk tree here, giving you Berserk, Heavy Blows, Rooftop Sniper, Kill Frenzy, and Grievous Wounds. Now, for those that are wondering, well, what happens if I shoot somebody with it? Yep, they get bleeding. It all stacks together. It's pretty darn cool. I do like it quite a bit. It will make you much more powerful in vanilla or modded or whatever. All right, so let's say that you did not want to go with Didia. you wanted to go with one of the other 4 that are currently an option. Well, the other ones that there are very different, and you're like, well, I've already proceeded along one path. How do I get into another path? Simple enough, you make yourself a shifting star, but that's actually not as simple as I just stated. The recipe for this has to be on probably a celestial altar, because otherwise you're not going to have enough space to craft all these. You're going to need some stardust, which means you will have to have proceeded further into the constellation area here, which has, you know, star metal ingots and so on. So therefore, you will have had to have at least processed into that. And you will, of course, have to put all this with some liquid starlight and so on into your celestial altar, which is over here. Now, in order to use it, you use it like a bow. You just hold it, and eventually it will give you an effect. Boom, your power fades. Now when I check my journal, the perk disappears. And you may be wondering, how do I regain that perk chapter so that I can start? Well, you need to just re-attune yourself. And remember, in the attunement chapter, you need to pick yourself a constellation paper, and then you need to place down your attunement relays in the place that you would be able to use them. So in this case, let's go with Visio. And let's see if I can actually place down these attunement relays, and I'll be right back. There we go, and on the proper night, I currently have the option to attune myself to Visio. So let me just get attuned, and I'll be right back. So if you happen to notice, while I'm hovering over this, that Visio, which actually here, let me kind of hover over it properly, it has some other lights going on at the moment. Reason for that is because there is more than one of these attunement relay setups that is ready to go. So if I put that down, it might be that Didia would be the dominant one. In that case, you might want to remove one of the Didia attunement relays just so that you might have a better chance of getting the other attunements, you know, that you were looking for. So if you have one that's dominant at the same time as another one, then just removing one of the attunement relays tends to help a little bit so that you can try and get the one that you're looking for. Now, let's get into this perk. This one here is a bit more, I don't know, movement oriented, but it does have, I don't know, this one's kind of a weird one. It's a little bit all over the place, but if you just choose the first one, which I just did not just there for some reason, I accidentally just clicked out of it. There you go. You notice that my screen kind of went back a little bit. I now have a speed buff going on. Now, I already had a speed buff before, which was from another mod that I have installed on my baubles right now that was giving me a bonus, but I am moving even faster now because I currently have a speed 1 effect going on. Now, I don't have it on the top here, but I do have a speed bonus, so it is very beneficial. It's permanent. You now have speed bonus, and you don't have particles annoying you all over the place. And it's not enough that your screen is really that bugged out. I mean, if it really does bug you, you can always change your field of view to be a little bit less, and then you're back to where you were. You know, it's not that big of a deal. But that being said, in order to progress in this one, you have to run around, and there's a lot of running around to be done. So your first one is hasted, grants increased movement speed. So therefore, the more you walk around, the more you're going to advance in this. And it's going to be very slow, because that's what you're doing all the time, is walking. So therefore, eventually, you'll get through this. And I'm not actually going to do this one because it does take a very long time to actually progress through it. I can't quite cheat as easily as I did with the previous one, where I just did like 1,000,000 points of damage with one mining pit. But with that in mind, you should be able to tell the ease of access that you gain just by reading what these do. Grants increased swim speed, so therefore you are able to move better underwater. Bigger stomach reduces overall need for food, so you don't get hungry as much. Saturation lasts longer. Miner's Delight places a light source close to you in caves, so you get free torches whenever you're underground. Kind of not really torches per se, but those little blue glowy lights that I've shown in previous versions of Astral Sorcery. Then you've got Digging Straight Down. Protects against lava for a short time. So you can gain some kind of lava immunity, which is really, really cool. I mean, it's general purpose, but it's based on movement. So if you want to progress on this one, you're going to have to run around a lot in order to do so. And even if you're flying, it still counts as movement. So that's beneficial at the very least. If you are already that far that you have the option to move via flight or even, you know, with an elytra, as you so may do. But I mean, if I look at my in my journal, no, it's not going to be on that one. I'm going to have to grab the illumination wand because that's the easiest way to see it. That you can see that it's slowly going up. I mean, it's very slow. It was just one line before, or 1 pixel thick before. Now it's like 3. But this is level 1. It's going to get a bit, well, more difficult as you progress in levels. So just walk around and you'll eventually level up in that, which is just really cool. And there will be notifications letting you know that you've leveled up, unlike what I've been showing you guys here. Alright, so there we go. The next one that we're going to be covering is going to be Armara, which is a bit more defensive oriented. Once I get infused or attuned to that, I'll be right back. Alright, there we go. Now let's check this out in the journal under the perks tab. And you should have this shield option here, which of course you will have to progress through the bottom levels before you're able to get to the top. It's not like Skyrim where you can progress along one side and then start back up along the other. But Tough Skin reduces overall damage taken, which is just really good. But there's a difficult part to this one. And that is, well, here, let me show you. In order to progress in this mod, or in this version of this, you need to take damage. So in order to take damage, well, yeah, you gotta be hit. So if you're one of those that is insisting on never being hit, yeah, this isn't gonna help you. But if you have things like, if you're always in battle or you just get hit all the time, this is gonna be the one for you. It's really gonna be good for those people that need the extra layer of defense. Because they go AFK or they just like to do a lot of questing and they may take some damage. And with that, let's actually bring this back up in perks. You can see I've been hit a little bit, but I mean I need some food. So, oh, I'm already being attacked here, but I want to be hit. So let's take a look in the journal with, actually, you know what, I can hold on to my illumination wand and that will give you an idea of, well, this guy's hitting me. The kind of damage that I'm taking, you can see it's actually leveling up how this works. And that's how the entire version is going to work. Uh-oh, I might die here. Oh boy. Let's get out of here. So here's something else to take into account, is that you'll actually level up faster, but the more damage you take. So if you're being attacked by a simple zombie, it'll take a while, and you'll go through a lot of food, but it'll still work. Now, if you're being attacked by something like, let's say, a golem, or an enderman, they'll do considerably more damage. And as you can see here, leveling up this ability can be very dangerous and destructive. So I recommend you do it responsibly. If you decide to just, you know, pursue leveling it up instead of just passively over time you gain the abilities, you can do this, but I'm going to, because I'm having such difficulty in actually just surviving this, which it should be relatively easy. Just get yourself one mob in an area, get yourself some food, and you should be all right, and then you just close a door or something between you. But, I mean, it takes some time. Now, Tough Skin reduces overall damage taken. I've already taken that. Additional feathers. Take less damage from falling. That's pretty much what it does. It just kind of lessens the damage you would take from a fall, so you can fall much farther without dying. Then, of course, higher dexterity grants a chance to dodge incoming damage, which, as you see here, if something tries hitting you, you have a chance of taking no damage. Then, if you go into something like Elemental Shield, take less damage from elemental damage. If you're being attacked by ice or fire or something like that, it will be damage lessened. And then no armor is more armor. Resistances and heal when wearing less than 2 armor pieces, which means 1 armor piece would probably be effective with this. So it's actually not too bad. I mean, you gain resistance and you do a very slow heal. It is basically your health will gain like a half heart, you know, like a very slow, you know how a regen 1 effect is? In this case, it will be more like a regen 0.1. So you will be regenning hearts, but it's just slowly over time, and you don't need to worry about eating food for it. It just happens. So therefore, if you start walking and you are down on damage and you're running away, as you're running away, you will slowly gain back like a half a heart. And then maybe another 10 seconds go by and another half a heart. And you don't have to have your food topped up. So if you're in a very long chase away from something, then you may still be able to effectively survive it. All right, and the last one we have is Avatas. Now this one here is a little bit different in the setup. If you see here, the blue sparkles are right in the center where the attunement altar is. You might think, well, how do I place one of these relays down where the altar is? Well, you don't. You don't even need one nearby, at least not in the center, because the attunement altar itself will act as an attunement relay. You just need the right time of moon phase in order for it to happen. So let me start kind of cycling through the different moon phases, and eventually, hey, there we go. Oh no, that's not the right one. Let's break one of those so that doesn't do it, because the one that I want looks like this. Therefore, need to go a little bit further on into the moon phases, and eventually it should show up. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Avatas. Now let me just kind of attune myself, and I'll be right back. All right, now that I have been attuned, let's put that away in here. There we go. And actually, let's take a look at the book. Now, the perks in this one looks a little bit different for Avatas. Start in the middle and work your way out. It's effectively the same distance for any of these perks. But let's take a look. Green thumb. Plants grow around you a bit faster, or plants around you grow a bit faster. So let's take that. And this is the weird thing, is that in order to progress in this one, you're going to need to grow plants. Specifically, I would best recommend a crops. So let's get a hoe. Let's just do a regular wooden one. And let's get some seeds, and we'll just see what happens here. Now, if of course I don't have any water nearby, so this isn't exactly the best area to do this, but I'm still going to plant a bunch of stuff here nearby. And anything within about, I'd say, 2 blocks radius of you. So what I'm doing about here, oh, hey, look, that's already growing. It's nighttime. It's not been, watered or anything like that. Oh, you can see little particles going on. So just about anything that's within about, 2 blocks of you, you should be kind of occasionally giving a fertilize effect, sort of like a very minor bone meal going on. And it is relatively good, I have to say. It's better than one might expect. I mean, it's not like, you won 7 days with one of those OP watering cans, but it is effective nonetheless. I mean, if you look here, you can see that just walking around this area, I've already grown a bunch of this stuff. And if I hold this up, you can see that I've already started on my way to the next level. Simple enough. So the best way to level this up is to stand in a field that is being self-harvested by some kind of farming device, or yourself, and just constantly keep regrowing food. This is a great way to get yourself some resources, as well as level yourself up to the next level. All right, and now that I have leveled up to the 2nd level, we can choose to branch out from here. Passive mending. Occasionally your armor repairs itself a bit. Very self-explanatory. Very, very valuable. If you've got yourself a vanilla set of diamond armor that's fully enchanted or something, and you don't really want to spend the experience levels and the materials in order to repair that thing in an anvil, then this is the perk for you. This is going to keep your armor alive. It's definitely very good. Very good. It works pretty darn often, actually. I found that within a few minutes, I had some mostly damaged gold armor was fully repaired. It was like ready to break. So this is a really good one to take, as well as increased fertility. Animals around you feel the need for replication. So let's start with this one, actually, and we'll come back to the last 2 out here in a moment. So you can see I am currently spawning in a whole lot of cows. It is entirely possible that a very small percentage chance that randomly animals near you will start, they will start breeding. So if I stand around here long enough, you might see something to that effect. I'll just keep on making some cows. But it is a very small chance that this could happen. So if you're standing in a large field of all of your animals, or even with just 2 of them, If you're just standing there with a couple of them, you might be disappointed, hoping that they're going to breed eventually. So you'll just want to experience that as you walk along. If you find a couple of a similar type of animals that could breed, like horses or cows or chickens or whatever, then you may have a chance that they will just pop out a baby really close to you. Now, it will take some time for you to effectively grow stuff. So as long as you are basically just near some kind of plant life that you can bone meal and grow over time, then you should be advancing this quite a bit. So if you're more the farming type, this is probably going to be the best one for you. But I mean, I'm going to just kind of skip ahead to these ones. I have messed with these already. And passive mending, as I've said before, will repair your armor over time. Mineral enrichment is going to, well, actually, I'll cover that in a second. Extended reach. Your reach increases a bit. This affects tools, not attacks. So if you are trying to hit something with a weapon or even a pick at a good distance, you're not going to be able to. But if you, let's say, I can't reach this tree now, but I could once I get that. Instead of reaching about 4 blocks away, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5 blocks away, you will be able to reach like an extra 1 to 2 blocks with your tools. So therefore you can reach top down and get other things much easier. So this is going to make things maintaining around your farm per se much faster, as well as mining a little bit safer for you. Now, of course, that last one I was talking about is the piece de la resistance. This is the mineral enrichment. Stone near you might turn into more valuable stone. And this could be abused, but it's going to be abused more with like AFKers. Basically, if you're standing near regular Minecraft stone, allow me to spawn some here, like so, over time, you will start gaining yourself some different ores will start spawning in there, like lapis, gold, coal, iron, etc. You know, diamonds, emeralds, all dependent on what biome you're in, I believe. But those will start spawning in about the same radius as your farming stuff, so within like a couple blocks of you. So as you're mining underground, you may create more ores as you're mining, which can be really beneficial. And therefore, you might not even need to go downstairs if you just stand near a bunch of stone walls in your base. So therefore, that one could be very powerful indeed. But once again, you are going to have to go through a lot of growth in order to do so. Most of these perks are, well, more or less, just things that you will do eventually over time, and you won't really need to put too much effort into them in order to accomplish that. For instance, if I just move around for one of them, or I have to grow things or be near things that grow for another, if I take damage because I'm fighting bosses or constantly questing, or I'm attacking mobs because they're constantly invading my base. I mean, they're very easy things that will automatically level your character up, and you don't have to spend the time, just kind of like chopping at a tree or something like that, or constantly killing mobs, laying them down in a mob trap or something. You'll eventually do this without having to grind in order to do it. So I find them very nice, very effective, and just really all around general good things to have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this a little bit by bit on personal attunement today. If so, please give a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to spread the mischief to others if you think they'll enjoy this video too. Until next time, folks, I'll see ya.